All right. Hey, welcome back to the homestead, guys. I was just checking in on our hive we split. They're doing a good job filling up the frames, and pretty soon we'll be drawing honey from these hives. Also, we have the 2 hives over in the woods where we'll be drawing honey from those as well. In today's video, I want to show you guys a new invention that some friends of ours came up with. It's going to make extracting honey and storing hives a lot easier. They're over in the learning center right now, so we're going to go over there and we're going to show you guys this new invention, show you how it works so you guys can be happy beekeepers and keep the mess down. So I've been beekeeping now for about 8 years, and one of my biggest struggles while I've been beekeeping is transporting the supers from my apiary, you know, my area where I keep my bees, and then into the area where I'm going to be extracting my honey, okay? A lot of times we use a vehicle or the back of the truck. Sometimes we've used a minivan. You know, it just depends on what you have and how you're operating your systems. But one of the problems I always had was that when I took that super off, the 3 or 4 supers, I would have to place them on the ground or in the vehicle or on the bed of the vehicle, and the honey would just drip out and get all over every place, causing a big mess. Then we moved on to laying out the trash bags, right? You guys have done that, come on. You extracted honey, you know what I'm talking about. You lay out the trash bags, you put the supers on top, all the honey still drips out, it gets all over the bag, it gets oozed out off the bag, and then you have a bag full of honey and a sticky mess. Not to mention, look at all the honey you just wasted, right? So our friends from Indiana that I was just talking about made this invention, and you guys are really gonna love it. Another problem that we find is storage. At first we were using like mothballs or moth crystals. Actually, you have to use moth crystals, and we would have the supers after we draw the honey, and we would stack the supers up, and in between each super would be some newspaper and then some moth crystals. And to be honest with you, it left kind of an odor, right? I didn't really care for that. It did a good job. We didn't really get any moths over the winter storage, but it just had a bad smell, and then that would kind of carry on, and I don't want that getting into my honey or anything like that. It doesn't really do it, but I was just paranoid about it, and the smell was pretty strong, okay? So when I found this, and when they contacted us and we started working together, it was such an ingenious idea, because now I have no waste, right? I'm able to keep all of my frames locked up and secure, right? I don't have any problem with the spillage. I'm able to recover what actually drips off the frames. I know you guys are like, show us, show us, show us. So I'm gonna take you guys inside the learning center. Here we go. So this is it. We're here with Tracy from the Hive, Butler.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
They're the inventors from Indiana I was telling you guys about outside, and they've revolutionized the way we're handling our bee frames as we're extracting honey, as we're storing them over winter, and all that jazz. So we're going to show you guys, give you kind of a full demonstration on how they work, how you can use them at your place, and then we'll leave all the information for you at the end of the video, okay?
Absolutely.
Right on. So what you got?
So we were really frustrated as beekeepers with bringing in our beautiful honey frames. We ended up putting them in dirty coolers and flimsy office tote boxes that were not up to bearing the heavy weight of honey.
Right.
I'm really frustrated by that. You work all year for those precious honey frames, and then you're dropping them in dirty containers. So we wanted a food grade box that would hold all the frame sizes securely, no matter how I carried them. As a woman, I carry things differently, so I wanted to hold it securely, and then because it's food grade, any honey that spills out into the bottom I can reclaim and feed to my kids. Big handles on all 4 sides if you're wearing leather gloves out in the field. And
yeah, I think that's huge.
Absolutely.
With the supers, you don't even have the handles, you just have the cutouts on the side. So, you know, I'm a pretty big fellow, it was always hard for me to really grab them up. But having 4 handles, you can grab it any which way.
And then stacked securely on its lid, so when you're taking it home, it's secure and you don't have to worry about that. And the whole point of it was we didn't extract the same day we pulled the honey frames. So we had to hold the honey frames for extraction at our convenience. So you can definitely do that in the Hive Butler. We've held them for up to 2 weeks.
Right.
So, but honey harvest is only a couple days a year, and we knew a box like this had to work a lot harder than that. Yeah. Of course, you can store your drawn comb in the off season. That's really important. You have to protect them from wax moths. So the Hive Butler is perfect for that. You can tell what you have stored in it. Look out into your storage area and say, oh, my deep frames, my medium frames, you know what you have where. That's really great. We've got zip tie holes for shutting them down for the winter. But the game changer for the Hive Butler was the ventilated lid. So with the ventilated lid now, you're taking the Hive Butler with you down to the bee yard to do your routine hive inspections. I often will put the lid upside down if I'm going to be in and out of the tote really frequently. So you're looking at those frames, looking for your queen, you're hanging the frames in the Hive Butler, not standing them up on the grass or putting them on a rack. The queen flies away or you step on her. This is a great place. We call it a quiet box. Keeps those bees at bay while you continue on with that inspection. We even gave you 1.5 inches below a deep frame. So if you pull out a frame that has queen cells on it, you can safely put that in the Hive Butler. And again, it doesn't matter how you carry it in from the bee yard. Everybody stays secure. If you're a swarm catcher, this is the perfect product to be going up the ladder. Snap your lid on. At least you can keep one hand on the ladder and one hand on the tote. Take your swarm home. Again, zip tie holes if you're going to put bees in your vehicle.
So what we're going to do is just pop a hole in here for the swarm to get in and out. Like right here is a prefab hole. The gate.
You could totally do that. In fact, our swarm video, we snapped it in the top onto some drawn comb frames. And then if you have the gate installed, you can leave the gate open for the stragglers to come in. Absolutely.
Right.
So multiple ways to do that.
Okay, so we showed everyone before doing beekeeping how to catch a swarm.
Right.
Could you actually use this as a swarm catch box?
A swarm trap.
Yeah.
There's discussion about that, and you could certainly try.
Right.
With the solid lid on it to obviously keep rain from going in. And drawn comb frames are what you want to put in for swarm. It really attracts the bees to that smell. But
I was just wondering.
you certainly can try.
And then like when you guys saw in the video when I brought the swarm box down from the tree, just like she mentioned about carrying it before, it was very awkward bringing that box down.
Very delicate, you have to be super careful.
Right, and you got the strap and everything else, but it's still hard to hold with the 4 handles and the way the frames hold in place. I can just let it drop, and they might get a little excited, but it's covered and they're inside.
Staying
and then
secure.
I can come down easier. So that's definitely a plus. I'm going to try to make one of these into a swarm box actually.
Absolutely. So now the Hive Butler's working for you at Honey Harvest. It's working for you in the bee yard. It's working for your off-season storage for your drawn comb, but then we made it into an uncapping tank.
And that's really nice.
You get 2 modified totes. Cut the bottom out of one.
So you cut the bottom out of this right here.
Yeah.
Now do you guys provide this screen that you place in?
We do. It comes with a food grade HDPE sieve. Freezer safe, dishwasher safe. You can use it for either one. And then the bottom tote of our uncapping tank just has a gate installed in it.
Yeah.
So you can still use that bottom tote during the rest of the year for your hive inspections with the ventilated lid.
Oh sure, just leave the
gate closed. So it's not an uncapping tank that's sitting on your shelf 11 months
It's multi-use. We always talk about getting one thing that can do multiple uses on your homestead, guys.
Absolutely.
Make sure you're taking notes. You're going to want to hit this website.
You know what? A good tool should be working for you all the time. Not sitting empty in your. So you got your. I want you to feel this weight of this honey frame.
Oh yeah, it's got honey.
Yeah, so nice heavy honey frame. You got your prop frame here. You're gonna, got my knife. We're gonna uncap. We're gonna spin the frame around, uncap this side, and then we can go on and do up to 10 frames in the tank, and the other person's filling the extractor with my frames.
Now I will tell you guys this. Before this invention came along, you guys know, because I've done it, and you guys probably do it just like me, because we're all humans and we all kind of do things alike. And I'm always setting them on the counter like this, and then it's slipping out of my hand, it slips off the thing, all the honey's all over the place. Now all your honey, just like I told you before, no waste. Every drop of that liquid gold is going in that box for you to extract. I love it.
So then your cappings are going to pile up in here, and the honey's going to go on through to the bottom, and you can bottle out the front. And then everybody processes their cappings differently. You could take the wet frames after extraction in the Hive Butler with the cappings and carry it out and set it out in your bee yard, and they can clean it out for you.
Right.
Some people process them in their oven, melt it down, multiple ways to do that. But again, you can just snap your solid lid on and take your mess home or back to wherever you're going to clean up.
Yeah.
Keeps everything in one spot.
Right, and no sticky all over everything.
Absolutely.
No garbage bag with the honey all over it. No, you've been there. Come on now.
I have been there.
All the beekeepers have been there.
I have been there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
One of the other problems that I always had was instead of using the super, sometimes I was trying to outsmart myself and then just bring the frames. So I got one of those Walmart totes. You guys know the cheapies at the Walmart, and I would put them in there, and you couldn't stand them on their sides or anything, so I would have to stack them up. And then when I got the weight in there, I don't know if you guys, if you're new to honey or anything else, one of these little frames right here, she has this one full for us. I I mean, this thing could weigh, take a guess, 10 pounds?
Oh yeah,
at
absolutely.
least. You know, maybe some could be even heavier. It depends on how much they draw. You can see hers are fully drawn out. Sometimes they'll stay closer, but these are really nice. This thing gets really heavy, and that plastic is not made for a heavy load, especially one that's not like leveled out in the bottom of it, right? So then I would always have a problem with the thing twisting. I've dropped it a few times.
Absolutely, we certainly lived that, and sometimes you'd get the box to its destination, set it down, and the bottom corner would break out just from the weight of it, the strain. And got so frustrated, I kept saying, that has to be a better thing, and my husband said, go make that. So I did, actually.
Nice.
So we put those big 4 handles on all sides because we knew how heavy it was going to be. Honey is the treasure that you worked all year for, and at least if it's going to leak somewhere, I want it to leak into a food grade container so I can at least feed it to my kids.
And so I can even get it if I want. If I tilt this up for a while, all of it will go down to the corner, and then I can get it out there.
Absolutely, yep. And so this is, we even make the plastic in Indiana. The product is made here.
Hold on, is this made in America?
It is. Not only do we...
Americans?
And even the plastic. So not just the product, but the plastic itself is not imported. That was really important to us. Yeah.
And it's really important to us. As you guys know, if you watch our channel, we're big proponents on family business and made in America.
Absolutely. Totally worth it. So how much do you think that weighs?
I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say we're almost to 100. 80 to 100 maybe?
Right, absolutely.
Did you weigh it?
And do you see your handles
No,
twisted?
look at that.
Yeah, that was... It's a beautiful thing. That was one of our demands to our engineer, was that those handles were not going to twist under the weight of honey. Again, we can stack them on the lid, even full, 4 high.
And you got a lot of space down in the bottom. Is that just because it's universal?
Okay, so first of all, we did spread the frames out. It's not bee space. Bees don't live here. So I did spread them out because a lot of my frames are drawn out wider than the frame itself. So I knew the fat honey frames needed to fit in here nicely. So did that as well. But also we made it deep because often in the spring, I will have deep frames that are nectar bound and need to be extracted. I knew if I only made it medium depth for honey, I would be really frustrated when I had deep frames. Even if I pull 2 per hive, you get to 10 pretty quickly. So we went ahead and went big and made it deep size. So any size frame will fit in there.
So that'll fit better, and you have a little space, and you can work. And I like the idea of spreading these out a little wider, because these are, like I said, I'll show you guys.
It's a big one, isn't it? It's like
when we draw out the honey, we're going to be drawing out our honey here pretty soon, and you guys will see the frames that we pull out, and we'll show you if they're built out like this. But look at this. See how it's lifted off there? Now most of the honey that I've been drawing since I've been here, they usually kind of keep it closer to the frame, and that could be by the design of the hive.
Well, we're running 9 frames in a 10 frame box, and we do that for this purpose. It makes it easier to uncap. We get more honey per frame, and then when you're pulling them out, you're not rolling bees and smashing them against the wall. So we're big on 9 in a 10 frame.
What a good tip. So most of you guys just fill them up because the slots are there, and that's what someone taught you. She incorporated a little better idea, give them a little more room to breathe, gets a little more honey on the frames, and everyone's more happy about it.
They will draw it out to create the bee space. So if I only put 9 in, they're going to make the comb bigger to fill the space.
You don't want to get it too big though.
Exactly, of course. That would.
So one frame spacing out the others is pretty good.
So they make a nice little spacer actually. If you're going to do 9 and a 10, they make this, it's like an orange comb, and you put it on your 9 frames and draw them along to keep them very parallel, because if you're a little bit wacky, the bees get artistic, and then you're really in trouble.
Now do you have that on your website?
I do not.
Oh, well, that's something she's going to be doing.
I need to be doing that. Absolutely. The other thing we did, the floor down there is as smooth as we can make it, so you can just run your rubber scraper down there and clean it all out as fast as you can.
So everything's about ease of use.
Absolutely.
User friendly.
Yep.
Made in America. Easier beekeeping.
And the last thing I will tell you about winter storage, we didn't talk a lot about that. Winter storage, we do not recommend using paramoth in the hive butlers. That paramoth toxic.
I was just talking about it.
That paramoth toxic chemical will be absorbed into this really nice material. They call this crate grade HDPE. It's the same stuff they make milk crates out of. It's very soft. Feels comfortable, but it will absorb that nasty toxin. So I stored 10 hive butlers full of frames over the winter. I did run the frames through the freezer for 36 hours to kill off any wax moth eggs that might be in there. Put them in with a desiccant packet that I bought on Amazon. and stacked them in my garage out of 10 Hive Butlers with 10 frames each. No wax moss. I had 2 frames that had a little bit of mold on it. That was it.
That's
so
excellent.
I'm never going to say it's wax moth proof.
Right.
I don't think anybody can say that, but we work really hard on our lid fit, and I just want to make sure nobody puts paramoth in it because you'll ruin the food grade caliber of the box.
Right. All right. So that's it, guys. I wanted to bring you guys all of the beekeepers right about now are extracting honey. So we thought this was some pertinent information. Also, they came to the Homesteading Live conference and they were vendors at the conference and got to speak to some folks, homestead homies, about beekeeping. Had a good reception there. Everyone that's seen it so far, because it's pretty new on the scene, has really enjoyed it and saw the value in it. Okay, so you guys check out their website, hivebutler.com. Made in America. If you're beekeepers, you know, if you're not a beekeeper, I know you know a beekeeper. And with the holidays coming up, you guys can surprise your favorite beekeeper with something that will make beekeeping a lot easier, and you might even get some honey out of that deal.
The website is
www.thehivebutler.com. Thehivebutler.com. And we'll have a link down below for you guys, and you can check it out. And were you doing any special thing for the homies?
Absolutely. Your customers, your followers, we are offering 10% off.
Okay, so is there a coupon code area?
You know what? We will make it off grid.
Yeah. So you guys go to their website. If you get something from their website, make sure you top in off grid in the coupon code and get 10% off. And I just did that for you right here in the video.
Lucky.
All right, so thanks for watching the video as always. See you guys here in a little bit for some extraction. Dr. Leo will be back up in a little bit. We have some classes that we're going to do together as well. So you guys might want to sign up for that. And if you guys any questions, they're really easy to talk to. You can also use their website, their .com, for information. I'll be glad to answer your questions and help you guys along. So
we need to take some honey into Stacy.
We're going to get some honey to Stacy. You guys have a great day. Thanks for stopping by the homestead.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the next video.